passion. So anyway,
Do that again.
Yeah.
what's it?
Get that on film.
Oh, what I was just saying?
Yes.
Well, trust me, man. I'm going to talk a lot about. This is how I talk. This is why I love teaching, because I think I've been put where I'm at for a reason. Not necessarily to teach music, but to be in the lives of the youngsters, so that I can give them these, as they call me now, life lessons. Life lessons with Lambert is what they always say.
Oh.
I had a student come to me the other day with a very, she was having a difficult time, and we talked. And it wasn't about music.
Yeah.
But the music gives me the position to be in to help these people.
Yeah.
And that's what I like with the music as well. I like this to put me in a position to help others. Not necessarily with music, even though I love doing it, but with other things. Like when we got talking a little bit about the spiritual stuff, because that's a big part of my life. And I credit that with where I was in 2006. I was a mess. And where I am now. Because in 2006 I was going through a lot of therapy. And the therapist recommended the book The Power of Now. And I read that book and it changed my life. And
That's what we have on auto tape.
Yeah, and it moved me on the spiritual.
No, we're talking about a lot of stuff, and I'm like, God, Chris needs to hear some of this stuff, man.
Well, and I think just being around me, you're gonna hear it, because that's what I am.
No, that's good.
And I'll start putting up more quotes, and I have my own page called the Mr. Lambert, Mr. Lambert Facebook page, where I put a lot of stuff up because my students follow it.
I have to follow it.
But it's just uplifting, man. You want to surround yourself with people on the same mission as you, but also around positive people.
Yeah.
You got to surround yourself around positive people that honor who you are, regardless of who you are.
Right.
If that makes sense, So anyway, where were we? We were...
Don't talk about money, otherwise taking the exit.
Yes, exactly. So, but no,
some kind of science is fucking with me.
Okay, are you recording still?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Oh, wow.
That's good, though. That's good. Because you never know where we're going to end up in 5 years, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, who knows?
And you could actually put some of this stuff, like when we finally get this song done and put it up.
Yeah.
You can put some of this stuff up, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It
could be part of the video.
I think that's what.
Like, remember Joe when he was still alive?
Oh, God forbid. Psycho.
No, don't say that. But I think that's one of the big things that Taylor Swift, I don't know if she still does it, but she used to engage her fans in her daily life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, and that was my favorite part about being in the band. I'll tell you, the best part about it wasn't like being on stage. It was being able to be with fans at meet and greets, or when we do like, this show called Surprise Surprise, where we go to like a fan's house or whatever and hang out with them for the day. And like be able to, because people look up to you, you know what I mean? So it was the coolest thing, being able to encourage people and give people love and, you know what I mean? Right. That was the best part of it. That was the best part of it.
Absolutely.
Was making other people feel good and giving them, giving them the time of day, because a lot of people don't give people the time of day.
Right, exactly, right.
So.
And that's really what it is. It's about honoring you know a lot about somebody when you see how they react or interact with someone that can give them nothing.
Yeah.
That's when you know that tells you a lot about a person.
Yes. Yes. So. To give someone the time of day, and listening is so big, because most people just want to do all the talking.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to listen or hear anybody out.
Yeah, listening is an art.
Yeah.
It is an art for sure.
Yeah, I love listening to people. Like, I'm one of those weird people who still likes talking with people on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, who are you? Like, people text now, Joe. Yeah. I'm just like, I'll just call people up. So what you doing?
Yeah, no, me and Joe, when Joe calls me, we'll end up being on the phone for like an hour and a half,
like
2 hours.
In the day,
just talking. Yeah. We started like with cats having seizures to fires to hamster deaths.
Everything, the chickens.
Yeah, the ducks.
Yes.
We went everywhere. Oh, anyway.
Cool. No, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. I think what got us on the whole conversation of spirituality is we were talking about happiness. Mm-hmm. And I said what I told my students. I said there's a 3-step process to achieve happiness, and not just external happiness, because a lot of people look for things outside of themselves, and that's you're setting yourself up for a lifelong of not being happy, because things change. Things outside of you change. Where you have to be responsible for what's inside of you. And so I tell this to my students. I say, if you find yourself in a position that makes you not happy, first step is to ask yourself, can you remove yourself from the situation? If you can't remove yourself, then you have to ask yourself, can I change the situation, right? And if you can't change the situation, the third and final step is the hardest. Can you change? You have to change your thinking about the situation, and you have to do one of those three, or you're not, or you're just going to continue doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes they don't get it because they're middle school kids, but some of them do. You know,
Yeah.
and I think
Some kids are wise.
because I use that in whenever I find myself in a position like that. You know, even if it's a position where somebody died, or it's where there's some grieving happening, where there's some grief. You know, there's a gift in grief as well if you allow it
Sure.
to be a gift. You know, it's a terrible situation you're in, but you have to change your thinking about it and realize that you're in this position. There's some for a reason. There's something to learn from.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard. It's hard.